brand of tennis can anticipate it.
Aquí acaba la historia del primer set. Bueno, comienza el segundo set y
Greetings from Boston. My name is Aaron Knapp. I hope everyone is well. Welcome to Tennis Talk Daily. Welcome back to Tennis Talk Daily. I know it's been a while. I missed you. It's great to be back. We have some tennis talking to do. The clay court season is upon us. Rafael Nadal has returned to match play and has displayed some very strong form. And for those of you who predicted that Rafa would retire or was close to retiring, I think these two matches in the Davis Cup competition do sort of prove you wrong. I think Rafa's going to be around for a little while longer. But the big question that comes up, the pressing question of the day, is who can challenge Rafa? Who can challenge Rafa on clay? And that's the question I want to look at today. I want to look at just who the contenders are against Rafa. Who could stop him possibly? There are a few, and I want to look at them today. But first, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up if you like what you hear and see. We are going to be doing comprehensive coverage of the clay court season. It's going to be tennis that regrettably does not involve Roger Federer, but it's going to be great tennis nevertheless, and we are committed to covering it, to discussing it, and to offering the most insight I can give you on these matches. Of course, it will bear on Roger's return because there are a number of players who we're keeping a close eye on with respect to the competition that Roger could face when he comes back. But subscribe to the channel for the essential commentary. Give the video a thumbs up. So, who are the players that could stop Rafa? He's the king of clay. Who are the players that could stop him? Comment below. I want to know your views, but let me offer a few thoughts. If we look at last year's results, there are a few names that come up in terms of possible clay court contenders. The first name that comes up is Dominic Thiem, who posted some phenomenal results last year on clay. He reached the semifinals in Rome and the French Open, and he reached the finals at Madrid and Barcelona. So that was a stunning performance on clay from Thiem. The only question is whether, or one question is whether he can resolve an injury that occurred during the Indian Wells tournament. He twisted his ankle, and it looked very, very painful. If one looks at the slow motion replay, he was in a lot of pain when his ankle went out. He did persevere in that match for a little while longer, but had to retire ultimately and retired from the tournament. There is news out recently, however, that Thiem is planning on playing the clay court tournaments and is planning on getting back into action at Monte Carlo. So we can assume for now, absent some other piece of information that comes out, that Thiem will be back, and he is, again, based on last year's results, the main contender, really. Alexander Zverev is another contender. See, Thiem didn't manage to actually win one of the clay court titles. Well, Alex Zverev did manage to win Rome, prevailing over Novak Djokovic in the final. He also prevailed over John Isner in the semifinal at Rome, as well as Milos Raonic in the quarterfinal. Zverev also reached the quarterfinal at Madrid. So Zverev is very capable on clay, seems to be doing well lately. Of course, his run in Miami was impressive. He may be sort of having the personal and psychological breakthroughs that he needs to have in order to start delivering consistent results. The final person I will mention specifically in terms of last year's results is Albert Ramos Vinolas. He reached the final at Monte Carlo as well as the quarterfinal at Barcelona. He's a very strong clay court player, so he might be in the mix as well. There are a few other people that we'll need to keep in mind. In the next gen, there's Coric and Chung, both of whom I think posted one, maybe two fairly good results on clay last year, but who, this year they're kind of proving themselves this year, and they might be able to do better this year. I'm going to look for them in the later stages, later rounds of these tournaments, quarterfinals. We might see a semifinal run from one of them. There's also some of the old guard folks, Delpo, Isner, Stan, and Djokovic. Of course, Djokovic we really can't depend on anymore, but he can play on clay. He does have the clay court abilities if he could get it back, sort of get his game back into gear. It's unclear what's happening with Djokovic, but it seems to be something of a fitness issue. There may also be some results relating to Djokovic's recent decision to apparently let go of Andre Agassi as well as Stepanek, his other coach. And he seems to be reuniting with his older coach, Marian Vajda, who presided over the age of dominance for Djokovic. And so that might be a reunion that will bear fruit. But again, we're not depending on Novak Djokovic too much because he's not dependable. With respect to Stan, again, we're just going to have to watch. He's very capable on clay. He's one of the best clay court players on the tour if he could just find form again. So Stan's in the mix as well. I do think that we could see some interesting results. Probably, I doubt that Rafa will be able to clean up and take all of the major clay court titles, all 5 of them. There will probably be someone else edging in and able to take at least one of those titles. Probably not the French Open, but one of the other ones. So we're just going to have to keep a close eye on the clay court season. But this week, we've got a tournament that's progressing. Right now, John Isner is playing in the U.S. Men's Clay Court Championships in Houston, Texas. Jack Sock is going to be down there. Sam Querrey is going to be down there. Francis Tiafoe is going to be down there. There's one match happening in that tournament today. Let's see, it's between Henri Laukkanen and Dustin Brown. Dustin Brown. Does that name sound familiar to you, Dustin Brown? Yeah. Dustin Brown. I like Dustin Brown because he's got a 2-0 record head-to-head against Nadal. I love Dustin Brown. He makes Nadal look foolish on grass. I love Dustin Brown. Oh, we'll take it easy on Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal, listen, folks, is the king of clay, but man, Dustin Brown can do some damage on grass against Nadal, and it's fun to watch those old matches. We'll have to see whether we see a matchup between Dustin Brown and Nadal, maybe even on clay. Wow, that would be a great match. But let me end by saying Dustin Brown is back. We haven't seen Dustin Brown in so long, so we've got a lot of reason to be happy, to listen to some reggae music, to groove out, do whatever else you do when you listen to reggae music. I'm not sure what you would do when you listen to reggae music, really. Maybe, I don't know, eat a hamburger or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, Dustin Brown inspires us. So let's keep a close eye on Dustin Brown because you never know what can happen. You just never know. And if we're looking to tennis for entertainment purposes, well, Dustin Brown can entertain, folks. So much more to come on the outcome of the Dustin Brown match, and with respect to Rafa and with respect to the developments in the clay court season. So much to talk about. Drop a comment about who you think might be challenging Rafa on clay. If it's someone I didn't mention, shed a little more light if you want on the people that I mentioned. If you have additional things to say, let's get a discussion going. And let me know if you want to talk about Roger, too. Next time, I'll try to work in some Roger news. Really, there's not much Roger news. There's one piece of news. Of course, most of it's coming out of the Express UK, which is that news outlet that we sort of love to hate. It does give you fairly solid information, but you got to get by those really clickbaity headlines. It's sort of interesting, but they just dominate with respect to news about Roger Federer. So every time I type Federer in, I have to go through these articles. But we'll go through a few of those next time. We'll talk about Federer. He's not giving us much to chew on with respect to kind of commentary. He's just laying low. But we do need to talk about Roger, and we'll do so this week while we have time. But I don't want it to interfere with our coverage of Dustin Brown. So first things first, we've got to get Dustin Brown covered, and then we'll get to Roger. So anyway, it's great to be back. It's great to be planning some more episodes, and it's great to be looking forward to what's going to be a wonderful year of tennis. Of course, we're all looking forward to Federer's return, which is going to be magnificent and earth-shattering, I believe. That's the one I'm looking forward to. That's the return I'm looking forward to. That's the one that I'm hoping comes, and the one that I know he's capable of giving to us and to himself. So that's the one we'll be looking forward to. Best wishes to everybody, and I will speak with you soon. Bye-bye.